Out your cookies and milk.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm glad that everyone who is listening tonight. This is week 10, respect and values, or values and respect. I have it typed in. We're going to be going over what respect and values are, but before we start, we're going to address a comment that we got yesterday on our live. It was quite concerning, so it needs to be addressed and will be addressed before we start today.
Okay, I'm going to address it. The question was, how do I stop talking to underage girls? And I don't know who sent this question in, but I want to make it very clear that if you're over 18 and you are talking with or going out with underage girls, you need to be aware in every state it's a felony. So that should be on the front part of your mind. Secondly, I would wonder why you have this need to talk to underage girls in the first place. That is not normal, and it can be very destructive to those girls, and it doesn't leave you in a very good light. So I would suggest going forward that if you're going to seek out relationships with somebody, at least make sure they're your age or older than 18. Okay?
All right, thank you for that. Now I want to go over what we are going to be addressing next week. So next week we will have our Q&A on Monday the 22nd over respect and values. And then our next Tuesday we will have a guest speaker and we will be talking about the overview about blessings and contentment. That will be next week on the 23rd. And then to get into today of respect and values, I want everyone to imagine that someone was watching your life for a week, your choices, your words, and your priorities. What values do you think they would say matter the most to you? So this is just someone simply watching you, observing your behavior, how you're speaking to other people, kind of like that third person fly on the wall. How would you think, or what would you think they would say based on that? And what I have written down, if someone would watch me, I have a big thing on integrity. Um, and if you don't know what integrity is, it's basically doing the right thing even when no one's watching. So if you're, say, at school and there's trash on the floor and no one's telling you to pick up that trash, you're going to pick it up anyway and throw it in the trash. That's using integrity. I also put well-being as something I value. Um, and in that sense, you'll see me take breaks to rekindle myself. You'll see me do small things to I don't know how to word that, but you'll see me do small things like go and pluck my eyebrows or go and do something with my hair or something small like that. Just try to um, give myself a little bit of taming, I guess. I guess that's something you would say that I value. And then the next thing I put would be accountability. A lot of the time, you'll see me, if I'm doing something wrong, it's usually not my intention. And so I will try my best not to do it again, and I'll make up for it. For example, if I accidentally left the door open and the whole house froze. That's happened before. Because we had a windstorm and the whole house was freezing because I forgot to close the door. And I didn't mean to, but from then on out, I made sure I kept the door closed and I heard it latch so the house wouldn't freeze. That's my way of taking accountability in that sense. And I know a lot of people as well don't really understand what values are, or maybe what they are. It's kind of hard to identify. So we're going to be going over that before we go over respect. But if someone were to watch you, I have Alice here with me. Ruby. Ruby is here with me. Our other co-host cannot make it today, so we do have Ruby. And if I were to watch you like a fly on the wall, what would you say your values? What values would I pick out of that?
I was gonna say you got a chart and I would like to look at it.
Yes.
I 100% caring. I try my best to be nice to people. I know what it's like for people to be mean, and I don't like people feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? So caring, definitely the first one. And just quick glance at your paper, trust and loyalty. I try my best to be very honest and very trusting with my friends.
Yes.
And my partner, I love him to death. I would never, ever do anything to hurt him. So
Right.
Trust and loyalty.
And those are big things, and I think they're core values as well. You can identify those as. And one thing I want to say is everyone does have values. There's those few handful of people who say I don't have values, I don't care about anything, but everyone does value something, even if it's super small. Whether that's, let's say, wealth. You may want to be rich one day. That could be a value of yours. Something like that. Everyone has values. I'm going to list off a few values just so we kind of get some kind of understanding of what they are. I have a list here in front of me. It starts with accountability, compassion, ethics, integrity, recognition, academic achievement, adaptability, conflict resolution, patience, perseverance, personal fulfillment, humility, enthusiasm, good attitude, entrepreneurship. There's a whole bunch, and everybody has personal values, and we're going to kind of talk about it. So maybe if you are a little confused on what they are, maybe we can have a little bit more clarification today. But a clear definition is values are beliefs and principles that guide how we live and treat and how we choose to treat others. It's kind of like the golden rule. You treat other people how you want to be treated, and it's kind of based on your values. If you value a good attitude, you're going to treat people and have a good attitude towards people, and maybe expect that back because it's something you value. And they also, values are important, and we're talking about them because they reflect how we spend our time, our money, our energy, where we put our energy and attention at. And they reflect off a lot of things we do in our life. I know we talked about decision making, and I believe we will talk a little bit more about decision making in the future, but your values, your decisions are based off of your values, and that's why it's important to discover those values. Because sometimes we do believe in something, like we do believe in honesty, but then we go and we compromise it, whether it's in a situation where you're feeling pressured or any kind of situation where maybe you're feeling a little bit weak in your values and you're not honest, or you have integrity as your value, and one day you should have done something but you didn't, and you didn't use your integrity. That's why it's important to identify them so we can better accommodate for them and focus on your values, because they do make up kind of who you are as a character. And people can usually pick out what they are based on simply watching your attitude and your lifestyle, but not all the time. But as a mom, did you begin to recognize what values, how did you begin to recognize what values mattered the most?
Like which values mattered the most? I'm still trying to figure out the values, like the term value, like what do I value? I'm still trying to figure out what it is that I
Yeah.
value. As a new mom, I went through postpartum really crazy,
Mhm.
and I'm just now starting to get out of it 2 years later.
Right.
And so I value not being like my mom.
Yeah.
My mom was a trash mom.
Mhm.
She wasn't there. So I value just being kind and present.
Kind and present.
Yep.
And probably, I don't want to pinpoint anything, but just having that good attitude.
Exactly.
Is something you
Yeah.
value. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then going off into choices and decision making and things like that. The three big things I want to talk about in our lives that values are going to influence, the important things, are goals, careers, and relationships. Those are the three main things that your values are going to reflect on, and it's important. The goals are what we work towards. And for example, if we have wealth as our value, our goal is going to align with that value. Or if we have, let's pick out something like commitment. You value commitment with friendship and maybe a relationship, a partner. And so your goal could be making sure that relationship's strong in certain areas, maybe nurturing that relationship more. That would be a goal towards commitment. Maybe you had the value of forgiveness. And so your goal would be to not hold grudges. That's just kind of examples on how those are going to align with your values. And then careers are what kind of work do you know is meaningful? So we kind of pick our careers based off what we know and not what we feel, because realistically, we need a stable pay. We can't just, always be what we want. If I could be whatever I wanted, I'd be a traveler, but I'd probably make no money. I'd be a fairy princess if I could, but I don't think anyone is going to be paying me for that. But that's what I mean. Your careers are kind of going based off what you know and based off your values as well. If I'm, like you said, you're a really caring person, so you could be a good person for someone to talk to. Say you're really good at opening up and having people confide in you, and so maybe you want to be a counselor or a therapist, or maybe you enjoy being a mom even.
That's so funny. I actually thought about going to school to go into therapy, and I was always told you can't help others if you can't help yourself.
Yeah.
So it's always like, I got to make sure my cup's full. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But it's funny that you bring that up.
Yep. And a lot of the time people don't think motherhood is a career, but it
really
much
is.
can.
It's a lot of work being a parent. I only have one. There's some people that have like 5 to 12 kids, and I'm like, bro, how are you saying?
And it's their whole life.
Yeah, but they value their
Exactly.
family. They value just the process of it all.
That's their life plan. That's their values led on to that, and they're happy. And that's exactly what we want for everybody, is to find those values and find what they want to do and be happy with that. And then the next thing it's really going to influence is your relationships, and that's who we trust and how we treat people. For an example, if you don't have any familiarity, oh my gosh, I'm not going to even say that word. If you don't have any relation to being compassionate, or if you don't have any value of accountability or trust, maybe you're kind of a mistrusting person, your values are going to kind of go into those friendships. So you're going to have people who aren't very trusting, and you're going to have people who don't use their integrity and maybe take your things, or maybe they don't have emotional control, things like that. So what you don't value is kind of also how we meet our friends. So what I mean by that is we kind of go to what's familiar, because it's how we are as humans. We just kind of lead and go to what's familiar. So if I don't have any value of being generous, or maybe I have a really bad attitude and I don't have any respect for people. And what I mean by that is maybe I'm just kind of shut off-ish, and maybe I'm rude. That's the kind of people I'm also going to surround myself with, because it's what's familiar. And why I'm bringing that up is once we identify our positive and core values like honesty and friendship and forgiveness, we will then become familiar with people who are honest, who are forgiving, who are caring, who hold accountability, who are trustworthy. And that's why it's good to kind of have that understanding. And it is kind of difficult to understand what I value. It's a hard question. If someone's like, what do you value? It's not easy to answer. And it's not necessarily easy to pinpoint, but
Truly, you have like a whole list, like a whole page of just
Yeah.
values.
yeah, it's hard to just come off with it on the top of your head.
Yeah.
Like, what do I value? But that's why it is good to have a page full of just a whole bunch of values that are listed, and then you can kind of go through them and see like which ones you align with. And I've even had to do that, like look at this page and see what I align with and really take that with me. Like my core values are the accountability, are the integrity. And so I carry that on with me. And I know that it kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of like the stamp on the paper. Like you have your entire paper, but it's kind of like the official stamp afterwards. I don't know. I think it's helpful. But misalignment between values and choices often lead to stress and regret. So if we don't understand our values, or we cannot pinpoint what they are, it does get messy, and you do compromise some of the things that you should value. And when we're not making choices based off what we value, we usually end up doing something that we regret, or we add stress to our plate or anxiety. It happens all the time, actually. But how have your values influenced the goals you set for yourself or your family?
These are hard questions. I'm
These
not
are
gonna.
hard questions. I'll kind of help you out here.
Yeah.
So let's think of a goal that I have. I'm going to college soon.
Oh, that's
And
fun.
so in the fall, I'll be going to college. And something that I really value is my academic achievement. And so my goal when I go to college is to start off, and I want to try the honors program. It is really hard, but I know that I'm going to be on campus. And so I'm going to be fully focusing on my college and having academic achievement as my value. I'm going to really, 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 really try to stay and keep my grades high enough so I can stay in the honors. I think it's just honors is what it's called, the honors program. So hopefully I can get that locked down. And then the next question is, what ways did your values affect your career decisions or sacrifices as a mom? So when you became a mom, you have your values. Say, you can have this.
Sorry.
So what do you do for work?
I make bougie boats. I do labor intense stuff.
Okay. So when you got that job, it's probably like an 8-hour
Yeah.
shift.
Yep.
You have to do that because you have to provide-
Financial stability. Yeah.
Right, financial stability.
Yep.
And so as a mom, you probably couldn't just.
I wish I could have just up and quit my job so I could be a mom.
Yeah.
That would have been so perfect. But I do value making sure that my family is financially stable
Mhm.
in whatever way we need, the best we can. What ways did your values affect your career decisions or sacrifices as a mom? Girl, these are hard.
These are hard questions.
They really are
We can
because
move
there's so
on.
many values out there, and it's
values
like
are tricky.
they really are, and you have to. This list is helpful because you can go through it and pinpoint, but like asking me, like, your values, what are they right now?
Yep.
That's hard.
It is really hard, and I think values also match certain situations. So it's just like, okay, what do you value as a mom? Well, I want
Keeping my kid alive. I value
keep
that.
keep my kid alive. Make sure that they're using their manners, or you have to have patience as a mom. You may not value it, but
yeah,
you have to.
I want my kid to be a good person. I do value that. We're working on please and thank you.
Yeah.
The one thing about my career that gets in the way though is I just feel like I don't get to spend enough time correcting said behavior. It's always somebody else putting their values onto my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like I try to tell people what I would like out of my daughter, but they only get half of what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. And that's why schools are also tricky because some people do overstep with some of the things that they value. It's just like, hey, we don't do that at home. But
yeah, I don't know if that quite answered the question, but
yeah, no, it's fine. That one was difficult. I didn't even get to go through those list of questions, so
yeah, this is the first time I'm looking at them.
Yeah, this whole lesson was crazy. I had it written out and I had to redo it late last night because it deleted. And
no.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess. So bear with us.
But we're here for you.
We're here for you. And any misunderstanding or under-explaining will be compensated on Monday. I know this week is a little messy when it comes to like really trying to understand or trying to explain this. It's kind of a little messy. So it will be compensated for on Monday, I promise. But going into respect, defining respect, what is respect? So there's going to be kind of like 3 different categories we're going to be talking about. And the first one is going to be your self-respect. What is self-respect? That's your value, your worth, your boundaries, and your choices. But we talked a really long time about self-worth. We talked about that for 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. And that also goes into your self-respect. If you understand and acknowledge your self-worth, you should have a form of self-respect. And that goes with a lot of things. Like I listed, your boundaries and your choices. And then next is respect for others. Treating people with dignity even when you disagree. This one is something I don't see very often. In this culture, a lot of it is meism and how I feel and how I do and how I see things. And, well, that person is just meism. And so, like in public, I was with my cousin. This was like a few months ago. And we were in Walmart, and it was really, really crowded in Walmart. And it was this Walmart up in Fort Wayne. And I was saying, excuse me, because I kept, trying to navigate through these people. So I was saying, sorry, excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry, using my manners. And he looks at me, and he's like, why are you saying that? I'm like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? I was like, well, these people, I'm getting in their way, and I'm trying to navigate through them, so I'm going to say, excuse me. And he said, we don't do that here. And I was like, but I do that. that's a reflection of who I am and my character.
my.
So I will
Yeah.
continue to do that. But you don't see that very often anymore.
Literally, I go to McDonald's. They don't even say hi to me anymore.
No,
They open the window and throw the food out.
yeah,
I'm like, bro, do you not get paid to at least say hello?
mhm. Especially with most McDonald's are filled with teenagers
Oh yeah.
running the store, and their manager's usually freshly 18 out of high school.
Yep.
And so it is always chaotic in the McDonald's. You're right. They literally throw it. We have 2 seconds, get out of my line. Okay, whatever. And then another thing that I see is really, really controversial, and especially in high school, I feel like, and middle school, especially in middle school, I think it kind of trickles out of high school, but it's still very much there. And that's respect for differences. Recognizing that people don't have to be the same to be worthy of respect. That's what we should be doing. However, I never ever see it. When somebody is different from a group or stands out of a group, it's always looked at as negative. Which I've never understood that. I personally am really fascinated with everybody being different. Like, that's just kind of who I am. I think people are genuinely like interesting, each person individual, no matter what they look like or how short or tall they are or their weight or girl or boy or how they like to wear their hair. Or just anything like that. Anything that we don't typically see or that's the typical cultural standard. It's looked at as negative, and there is honestly a really big problem with bullying as well. I see it more in middle schools though, where people are bullied for differences. I think in high school, I think it's used more for the malicious intent. Like, for example, if girls were like, a girl got with some girl's boyfriend, and now that the only thing they have to say is they talk about the differences that they have or the things that are deemed as negative to try to hurt their feelings. But I also, growing up, kind of like realized what they're pointing this thing out or they're pointing something out, but why is it bad? I didn't think it was bad. And so it was just kind of like retraining my brain. Like, it's not, those things aren't bad. Nobody said that they're bad. I mean, they did. They tried to. But as like a standard or a definition, nothing was defined as that. It's not a bad thing to be different. And that's kind of what respect is. It also goes with treating people how you want to be treated. Nobody wants to be walked up on and talked about, or nobody wants to be shoved or shoulder checked, and then the person doesn't even say sorry. That's rude. Nobody wants that to happen to them. And so my biggest question is, why are we doing it to other people? That also goes with integrity. Really passionate about it.
Do you need to spell it for the people in the back?
INTE. Yeah. Yes. Integrity is really, really important, and I think that also goes with respect as well. And then, as a mom, what does self-respect look like for you? And what I mean by that is, like, what do you have to do? Say your kid was like all over you. She's just being too crazy. Maybe a toy already hit you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
You would probably get up and
take a deep breath and do the steps. Take a deep breath. Try not to yell.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk a little louder. That's not yelling.
Yeah, stern is not yelling.
Exactly.
But
I make sure for my self-respect that if I am in a space like that, that I need at least 5 minutes to myself,
Right.
5 to 10 minutes to myself.
Mhm.
I'm not going to lock my kid in a closet, but best believe Bluey is going to be on.
She's gonna be in her safe space.
She's going to be in her safe space, whether it's with her dad, whether it's on the couch, but I'm going to get that 5 minutes.
Mhm.
That's self-respect to me.
Yeah. And yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at, is the self-respect for moms. I think a lot of the time, like I've seen and a few family members as well, like they think that since they're moms that their kids can kind of just do whatever because they have to be their parent. I mean, I don't know how to word that. Not walked all over, but like toys would be thrown in their face, and you know, kids would be screaming in their face and in their ear, and it would hurt her, you know, it's made her bleed before, and she thinks that she kind of has to take that
Mhm.
because she's a mom.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time we think that we have to throw our self-respect out the window because, I mean, in some scenarios you do.
In some cases, sure, but what you're describing is a lack of boundaries and self-respect to
Yes.
yourself.
Mhm.
And it is hard finding that as a
Yes.
mom, especially if you're like a single mom.
Mhm.
How do you find 5 minutes of me time when
Right.
you're by yourself? You can't leave your kid by yourself.
Exactly.
I don't know. That
It's definitely something that's not easy, but maybe something that we can recognize a little bit, like, hey, you can get up and have 5 minutes, but sometimes we can't because our situation. But I know I've had to make sure, like, my niece or my nephew was, you know, in their safe space. I don't know if I talked about it before, but there was a time where I was with my niece day in and day out. I was taking care of her. And so there was times where I had to be like putting her in her crib and going and taking space away, counting to 10, crying, doing what I had to do, and then coming back and be the best that I can be. And that's the way I think is respecting her and respecting me, because
Yeah.
I would not be doing her a service if I were to blow up.
Well, really, you're just going to be teaching them bad habits. Like
That
when
too.
when they get older, that's how they're going to start reacting to their kids. That's how they're going to start reacting to their parents, not parents, partners.
No.
And so it's like you want to act the way you want your child to act when they get older, in my opinion.
Yeah, because monkey see, monkey do.
Monkey see, monkey do is so true. My
Yes.
daughter, just some of the things she says now because she's a little parrot, and some of the things she does cracks me up. But yeah, that 5 minute of me time is important because it's just, I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Yep, sorry.
But adding on to that, like, my mom, she was talking to me the other day about my nephew. He kept saying stupid, and
Mhm.
she never hears him say stupid. He was saying stupid car, stupid truck, stupid dinosaur, everything was stupid. And she just didn't know where it was coming from. And then I catch her the other day, and she's like, "Oh, that stupid table." I'm like, "Mom,
Yeah.
that's where he's learning it from." Because my brother was like, "Mom, why is he saying stupid so much?" And it's because my mom has a bad habit of, like, when she bumps her knee or when a kid bumps their knee, she's like, "Oh, stupid floor." And he, monkey see, monkey do. He started
Yep.
saying stupid, and so now she has to watch her words. But
My
it's a
daughter
real thing.
my daughter calls her dad babe right now. She's in the babe phase right now.
Oh, that is so funny. That is so funny. I lost my notes. But our last little segment for today is respect in relationships and community. I kind of talked about this one a little bit with the Walmart situation, but respect, why is it there? Why is it important? Why do we even care about it? And I think the real answer is for yourself, because in reality you don't have to care about anything or you don't have to do anything. But I know I have respect for myself and for the people around me and for the people I love, because that's something you should care about.
Yeah.
And
I think it's also like a safety thing, really.
yeah.
People can be scary.
Mhm.
And if you're not respecting their space, they can disrespect your space.
Right.
And that's important to keep your space safe.
Mm-hmm. It's also, yeah, that goes with boundaries a lot too. That's a good point, because we don't know how people react. We cannot control how
Right.
people react. We don't know if that person is crazy. Okay, so
Literally crazy. Yeah.
literally crazy, and that's why, like,
It's important to say please and excuse me and thank you,
Mhm.
because they could just pop off when you bump into them and don't say sorry.
right.
And
lot
that's
of-
how I took it.
Mhm. A lot of people. That's why a lot of people won't go in public. Come on, guys. But yeah, it is extremely important for me as well to just remain in my character and respect others and respect myself, because we don't know how people are going to react.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll find those people where you glance at them and they say something because they think you're staring at them.
Yeah.
But those people, they'll find themselves one day. And then our communities, they thrive when people feel heard and valued. It's just how it is. If everyone was to themselves, cold, that's just kind of how I see it. Just to themselves, cold, nobody interacted with each other. And that's kind of how our culture is today,
It is.
because we live in a virtual world and we don't know how to be social. Like when I see people in Walmart and I look at them and we make eye contact and I smile, they almost frown.
Yeah.
They almost frown. It's like a crime to smile back. There's those few people where they'll say hi, or they'll smile back, or even maybe start a conversation, but you don't see it very often anymore. I don't know if you've heard of the Gen Z stare.
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Okay.
What is it? Show me.
Show me.
Yeah, I need to know.
You've probably seen it. It's like say a Gen Z is a barista at Starbucks,
Okay.
and you say, "Can I have a medium?" And they just stare at you,
Like you're
blank
stupid?
face, like you're stupid.
Yeah.
But you get that anytime you smile at them in public, and you get that stare like you're stupid. That's what they call
And
the Gen Z.
That makes
stare.
me think of my fiance's little sister.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. It makes you want to like smack them. Like, why
Uh-huh.
are you looking at me like that?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
So rude.
And yeah, so rude. It is so rude. It does. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. But
Now that you're explaining it, I know a few people that have given me that look, and it's
Mhm.
like, you're lucky I am nice and I
Mhm.
don't hit people.
yeah, or you ask, like, it could have been a stupid question, or maybe if I thought about it more, I would have understood. But sorry, I asked which size was which. You
Yeah.
know, like, yeah. I definitely like to see that more. But when it comes to like, because you were talking about in daycare, when it comes to like parenting styles and how they do things, do you think that you think that it's respected a lot, different parenting styles, or do you think
It's a hit or miss. I
Yeah.
think there are definitely some moms or parents that strongly disagree with like breastfeeding, for example.
yeah.
Strongly disagree, even though there's like evidence that it's good for you.
Mhm.
Some people are very disrespectful to the moms who choose to breastfeed, for
Mom
example.
shaming.
Mom shaming is
Ugh.
a big thing. And I've noticed out in public, I don't have too much mom shaming. It's literally social media
Mhm.
and my phone.
Yeah.
That's where I get a lot of the mom shaming, or it's the older generation.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're doing things wrong. You're making your kid blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And Shut up.
Shut
Just
up.
just shut up.
You already raised your kid.
Yeah, you had your time. I've seen your work. I don't need your advice.
Yeah.
Um
Respect for the mom world is
it's hard.
it's hard, especially online, and we will talk a lot more. I know we keep saying about the online stuff and social media, but most of the time where I do see mom shaming is in the comment section of a TikTok.
And a lot of it is so unnecessary. It's like, if you don't like it, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm saying shut up in a bad way or whatever. I shouldn't say that, but that's literally all I can think of is right now. Just shut up.
Right.
Just be nice. And unless a kid is in danger, what is the point of saying something?
Right.
If that makes sense. Unless you're like trying to educate them, like, hey, don't hold your kid upside down because they're going to get blood to their brain. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're trying to educate them, what's the purpose of putting a negative opinion out there when it's not affecting anything?
Right. And you see it all the time. Or I'll see some like a 15-minute clip and someone's like, okay, be careful because this is gonna happen. But it was a 15-minute clip and that didn't happen. Like the kid was next to their dog or something. It's like, well, be careful, that dog might bite their face off. And it's just, well, why didn't I think of that? It's
Oh,
just
goodness.
things like that. You always get more conflict on social media, especially with the mom shaming, the
Yeah,
respect. I don't even think respect exists on social media.
barely.
Maybe
Yeah.
in the very, very, very slim percentile. And that's why I think it's also so conflicting, is because it's so disrespectful.
And some people feed off that disrespect. I don't
Yeah.
understand why, but they're like, "Oh, I'm going to add to that disrespect and be more disrespectful."
Mhm.
And it's like they're literally adding fire to the fire.
Yeah, I don't know why either. I probably, if I sat down and thought about it, I probably could figure it out, but it needs to slow down and it definitely needs to change. I do think it's a mix of underdeveloped brains and no social skills, because a lot of it is just hiding behind a screen and you can say
Yeah.
what you want.
We're just in a weird time.
We are. And then how can moms model respect in their communities in ways that kids will notice and learn from? So if, like you said, the monkey see, monkey do,
Yeah.
what do you think how do you think moms should model respect more in the communities and things like that?
Just being involved is
Yeah.
my first thing.
Mhm.
Is I personally go to church. I try to get involved
Yeah.
in that aspect,
Mhm.
or hanging out with my grandma. You know, the
Yes.
elders need to be hung out with too. You know,
Yeah, I hang out with my grandma all the time.
they have some good things to say sometimes.
Old people are wise.
I probably shouldn't say that. I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. I had something in my mind, but no. I think just getting yourself involved in community things that are positive, like church events,
Mhm.
school events.
Mhm.
The clinic has events.
Yeah.
You know, just that's my best answer.
Yeah, because some of the times you do see like there a lot of the time, like the parents at home, not a lot of the time, but there's some cases where the parents at home and that's all they do.
Yeah.
Is they're at home, and now I see it now where these kids are teenagers, and for one, they're going and doing whatever because there's no parent supervision.
Yeah.
And for two, there's that automatic, like almost social anxiety. And I think it is just lack of being
Socially
involved.
No, I totally get that. My partner and I are complete opposites. He is a social butterfly. He has traveled and he does what he needs to do. Where my family pretty much just raised me inside the house. And so going outside is scary.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that like coming to the clinic and going to my daughter's school has really helped open me up a little bit, I
Yeah.
guess.
It
And
literally changes or trains your brain.
exactly.
Mhm.
And it sounds weird maybe, but it has changed some of my values. Like
Yeah.
I want to be a more social person like my fiance.
Mhm.
And I want my daughter to be not scared of people.
Right. She's definitely not scared of people. I'll tell.
No, she definitely isn't.
She's so fun. But I'm gonna end this off on a reflection question. I'm not gonna answer it, but I just want everyone to think about it. And like I said, any confusion will be compensated for on Monday, especially with questions that you can send in. But are my current choices aligned with my values? And am I treating myself and others with respect? I want you to think about that, and I want you to keep that in your mind. And while you're living out and doing your daily tasks and going out in public, I want you to keep that in mind and use your manners and be nice in public, please. If I smile at you, please smile back at me, please. You make me feel scared.
And if you work at a fast food place, just say hello, bare minimum.
Yes. Or how are you? Or have a nice day. But our closing thought is from Luke 6:31, and that's do to others as you would have done to them, or as you would do to them. And that's just kind of the golden rule.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Figure out your values. Easier said than done.
It really is.
Really easier said than done.
Like I think this whole back page could have been filled as well
Yeah.
of values. That's just how
Values
many
are-
different values there can be.
Yes, values. There's so many values. I don't even think you can put them all on paper.
No.
I think what you value, and there are good and bad values. I would say, if you value stealing, that's not really good.
No.
No, that would not be a good value. So, what I want everyone to do this week is, even if you have to pull up a list, I have to pull up a list too. Kind of circle and pinpoint your core values, because you do have some, and maybe find a new value that you could value. But again, next week we will have our overview on blessings and contentment, and then we will have a Q&A on Monday the 22nd, covering any questions or concerns over today's lesson of values and respect. So please submit those at ken@hopeandanswers.com. Email to that. Oh my goodness. My brain is just not here today. Please send any questions or concerns to that email, and we will address that on Monday for Q&A. I appreciate everyone who is listening today, and I will see you and talk to you guys next week. Thank you so much.